Hey guys, this is Oshi, and this is going to be a very personal video, so if you don't care about those, then feel free to skip it. This is something that I didn't mention publicly yet, and I kind of felt like since it has an impact on my life, then, I should, because it does, even though the impact is kind of weird and unexpected. And as you can see from the title, which is Grief, this is about me losing my grandma, I guess, but kind of feel like it's weird to say because, I didn't lose her, she died. But yeah, on the 2nd of October, my last remaining grandparent, my grandma, who I had a very complicated relationship in a way, or very simple in other ways, passed away. And I didn't mention it because, not because, you guys are horrible or anything like that. I know that you would have just left supporting messages because you guys are awesome. You guys are wonderful, but it was hard already to tell people in real life, because you had to, because those people would have noticed, her absence. And I had to tell, not had to, but I told a few people online as well because it was relevant for them to know when it happened. But I kind of didn't. I'm not someone who talks about these things when they happen. And I know that for some people it helps, but I was too bit surprised by the heaviness of the loss that I felt. Because like I said, complicated relationships, and I'm not gonna go really, into the too much details because it's not just about me. I just kind of felt like it's important to mark this occasion as well, because I do these videos in a way to record my life, even though I haven't done a real update on the personal front ever since shit went down and started with Ukraine, which is ridiculous still. And I don't understand these things. How can they still happen? But this is something different, and I can't promise that I'm gonna make a lot of sense. I can't promise that this video has a great quality because I'm filming it in the night, because this is not a topic that I can, or I could talk about it in the daytime. But since I'm gonna cry, which I know I will, it's better to do it in the night, I guess. And I pulled a few cards to help me, I guess, talk about things. But what I started to say is that I think it's important because I don't know, I never really Googled, like, what do you feel when you lose someone that you had a complicated relationship with? And even though there's a book out right now by, I think, Jenny McCarthy, I think that's her name, but I'm not entirely sure because I didn't know her. There's a book called, I think it's called I'm Glad My Mom Died, which is funny in a way. Because, my relationship with my grandma was good if I chose to not see certain things. But after a while, when I, started becoming older and seeing things happening, it was hard to ignore. And even though I always say that, you should judge someone as how they act with you, but when other people that you love and care about are involved, it's hard to not find fault and be resentful, I guess, in a way. But still, she was the one, like I said, my last remaining grandparent. they are all officially gone now, and thinking about my relationship with them all, the one that I loved the most died years ago. I had one that I really didn't care about dying, which sounds horrible, but when you're an asshole in life, don't expect me to treat you otherwise just because you died. I had another one that wasn't really my grandparent, but I talked about her before, that I really felt close to, and losing her was, I guess, easier because I knew how I felt. I knew that I loved her, and I knew that it was hard to see what happened, but I knew how I should respond emotionally, and I responded that way so I could deal with it easier. But her dying, my grandma, it kind of took me by surprise, because even though you think that I'm an asshole, you might think that I'm an asshole, but I honestly thought that I will be sad, but just oh yeah, it's sad, but hey, she lived a long life and let's move on. But because she lived with us, I guess, and because I saw her dying, not the moment, but the whole process that led to her death, which was honestly a relief. And if I can choose how to die, it's gonna be like this, because she one day got really bad, like probably we're guessing that she may have had a mini stroke or something like that during the night, because she went to sleep, everything was fine. The next morning she woke up and she didn't really know where she was, and she couldn't really get out of bed and stuff like that. And everything went down pretty much within 2 weeks. And this is a state that you don't wish on anybody. So seeing her like that changed a lot, because maybe it's a good thing, because I'm not like a psychopath. I can feel empathy and sadness for someone. But I hate seeing someone like that, when you don't know where you are exactly and who the people are around you. That's just so unfair, and it's hard to watch. And there were a few days like that, and it was hard on everybody. But then, she got better in a way that a little clearer. So we kind of expected this date to last like a few years, because there are examples for that in that side of the family. But like I said, it happened in a way that I would like to go. Because in the morning, she talked to my mom. She got up, she talked to my mom. I think she had breakfast, I can't remember anymore. Even though it just happened like, I don't know, 12 days ago, it kind of feels like an eternity at the same time, which is ridiculous. And then she went to sleep and she never woke up. 2 hours later, when my mom went to check on her, she was dead. And like I said, it's a good thing. But still, she died. And like I said, I'm more surprised by how I feel, how much I grieve for her, than I was before for people that I know that I loved. Like in a cleaner way. How to say that? It's a weird way to say it, I know. But I just kind of wanted to make this video, because, and I'm not gonna watch it back, so if I make no sense, I apologize. Because I kind of have that, or I always had that notion that, I don't know if there's a saying in English or other countries, but there's one that roughly translates to Oh yeah, I think it's no. Don't speak ill of the dead. I think that's the English one, and I never understood that. I always thought that that's hypocritical and ridiculous, because if someone is an asshole in life, why should you not say that when they die? But I kind of understand in a way that for people who are close to them and who are there comes some sort of forgiveness that can come. I'm not gonna say it's always there, and don't get me wrong, she wasn't a horrible person. She had issues, and in the modern way, day to day, she would, might get help and get therapy and deal with those issues. But I kind of have to think that, she didn't grow up surrounded with love. I think my mom told me that only her one grandparent loved her. So how would you even know how to love someone if you're not loved when you grow up, when you're supposed to learn these things? So, we always circle back to we're fucking up our children, isn't it? Like, wonderful. But anyway, I don't even know what I meant to say with this. Just that, I'm still surprised, and I talked to my mom about this, and it's interesting because it wasn't for everybody in my family, but I talked to my mom and she was the same, that we felt her presence for 2 or 3 days in her room, in her part of the house after she died. And it's gone now, she's gone now, but maybe it's just, energy, and all your objects are infused with yours when you live in them, and you can clearly say or tell when someone is gone. But she was there, I think, for a few days. And something else, which is interesting, because it's kind of, I don't know, weird in a way, or strange, because I posted a video. I recorded that one before everything happened. My latest one, the What's in the Box, I recorded that before she died, and I talked about wanting to work with guides or a goddess or whatever. And Joe, who is a lovely person, left a message or a comment on that video and talked about maybe you should start with ancestors. And before all this happened, I would have just said that I don't really work with ancestors because I don't feel connection to anyone. And it's true in a way, because I don't really know my ancestry. We lose track after my great grandparents. I think no one knows where both sides of the family comes from exactly. We don't really have records and stuff like that, and I never really had a long history where I knew where we came from. And I'm interested in finding it out, but I never felt called to work with ancestors before. And I'm not saying I will, or I know what I'm gonna do, but what I'm trying to say is that while we were waiting for people to come to take her body away, because they have to wait 2 hours officially, I guess, so that you can figure out if someone is actually dead or not. Even though, why not a doctor to check that? I don't get that, but whatever. And I was outside when they came to pick her up, because I didn't lose it when the people came in to take her body out, but I lost it when they gave a receipt, a piece of paper that you sign that yes, they took your grandma's body away. Like, it's so transactional. It's just cold, and that was too much in that moment. The impersonality or impersonal nature of that. Even though I don't understand why, but still, it's just so weird. And I'm so grateful that she died in her bed, at home, not in a hospital, because that's such a privilege. But I just couldn't handle it, so I had to get out, and I was walking up and down in the yard or garden or whatever, and I saw a ladybug. And there's an awful lot of ladybugs this year, unexpectedly, because it's in the middle of October now, and they should be all sleeping or whatever they do for the winter, but they are everywhere. And I I didn't really pay attention. I don't even know. I think I just put it somewhere else. I saw it on the ground, and I picked it up and I put it somewhere safe. And I didn't think about it twice. It was just a ladybug, And then the next day, and sorry, it's not the profound part of the story. I wasn't meditating or doing anything wonderful. I was sitting on the toilet, which it just makes it more ridiculous, but kind of real. And I was on my phone, as one do, because you can't really get out of your head for 5 seconds. When I heard something buzz next to my head and land on the mirror, and of course I assumed it was a freaking stink bug, because those creatures, which I hate with a passion, are everywhere, and they are disgusting, and I'm so sorry if you love them. And I was like, okay, I need to run, get ready to run. There's a stink bug. But then I looked up, and there was a ladybug on the mirror. And that was the moment when I was like, okay, I saw one yesterday. And I kind of felt like it was her. And I know she never believed in anything like that. She was Catholic, I think. Okay, she believed in God, and she was religious. I never know the difference between the two, I'm sorry. But, she was buried in a Catholic way with a priest and everything. That's what she wanted, that was her wish. And I put my own little, mixture of herbs and whatnot that I put together when I wanted to do something. So I put together a mixture that might help her to, start the next life a little better. And I'm glad that I was able to put it in the grave before anybody was there and before they closed the grave, because after it was done, everything was done, it was closed quickly, so I didn't lose the chance to do that. But while I was standing and listening to the priest talking, which I never heard, I never paid attention to what people say when someone dies in a funeral, because I don't really go to funerals. I'm not a funeral person. I don't grieve there. I most of the time I just really hate the hypocrisy. People pretending to care for someone because they died, but they didn't care for them when they lived, and it was present here as well, and it just annoys me to do. Not that, because that would be morbid to say, but I don't have the patience to pretend, and I didn't. And the most civilized thing that I could do was to not talk to people. I greeted them, and I didn't look at them, and I didn't engage in conversation. And I saw in some people's faces that they were surprised, and they thought that I was rude. But you know what? Fuck them, and I don't care. There is such a thing as a telephone, and you couldn't even pick it up to call her when she was still alive. So you know what? I don't care. But anyway, while I was standing there listening to the priest talking about a lot of things that any other time I never paid attention, but now it kind of hit me. I saw a ladybug, and then I saw a 2 and a 3, but I saw one next to me on a bush or shrub or whatever it's called, on a leaf. And it kind of felt like it was her again. And I don't know why she would, come to me, because we were not that close. I know she loved me. And I loved her, but I would have expected this sort of thing from my other, not grandma, that I was the closest with. And maybe she tried to reach out when she died. I don't know. I wasn't doing any sort of a spiritual practice back then, so I don't know. I could ask, but I don't know. I did a reading one time, trying to connect with her, and that was weird, and I didn't like that reading, so I never really tried again. But I still feel like, because of the ladybugs, because of that I don't know, maybe it's stupid, but I kind of feel like it. And I know most of you will say that it's probably her, and that I understand, that because she's not here anymore, she's done with learning this lesson, she can be a different person, her higher self that still connects with my family. But yeah, so I don't know. But 20 minutes in, wow. And I'm kind of a little sick as well, so it's I think it's perfect to film this video. But I meant to pull 3 cards, but these 2 came together. And I wanted to talk about things while I flipped the cards over, but I guess I just can't do that. But let's look at the cards, because I pulled this is the what did I lose? What it actually means and how to heal. Because, maybe I don't know. And I saw one card. Yeah, so what did I lose? 10 of Coins is legacy, it's family. I think it's quite fitting for a grandparent, because I always read this card as that lineage. And my ear is killing me, I'm so sorry. I hope you can't hear that it's making weird noises. But the Queen of Wands, I think, is quite fitting, because in a shadowy side it can be a little narcissistic, or a lot, and yeah, it's just fitting. So, what did I lose? A grandparent. What a surprise. No, it's not. But at the same time, it's an end of the line, in a way. It's kind of weird. I don't know why, to think that I don't have a living grandparent anymore. I don't know why this thought, it just hits me so hard, because I have my parents, I have my siblings, I have friends, and grandparents are part of your life, but they are old most of the time. So you get ready losing them, in a way, more than anybody else. But I guess there's a finality in the fact that she was the last one. I don't know. And the morbid thing at the funeral is, when they pray for the soul for the next one who's gonna die after the person that they are burying. And I'm like, whoa, thank you. That's just weird for me. Like, why do you have to name? It's like we're going off the list. But anyway. So what did this actually mean to me? Page of Cups, okay. Page of Cups. I don't really know. How do I read the page? Page of Cups is obviously connected to emotions, but it's an open and honest and empathic energy. It's someone who's young, but she wasn't. And I know that a page doesn't have to be young, but traditionally, and I would say the Queen of Wands fits her, so it's this page is not her. I have to think about this. Please feel free to share what you think, because I might not be, in a place where I could see the message, and if something comes through and you would be so gracious to share it with me, I would, appreciate it, because it's easier to deal with it if you figure things out. But it still makes me think about family, because obviously it's a nest. And something else, but that it's not what I've lost, but there's gonna be a baby born soon in the family, and she didn't get to see that baby. So that's a loss, but it's not mine. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to sit here and pretend I understand. I hopefully will. But how to heal? Oh, the tower. Thank you. The tower. Well, it's rebuilding the foundation, isn't it? Starting over after an abrupt ending. And I guess it's giving myself time to not try to pretend that everything is okay, that the dust has already settled, because there are times when I'm completely fine. For example, when I last filmed the House of the Dragon episode, I was completely fine. I had fun doing the reading. I had fun watching the episode and then doing the video. But when I filmed the first impression of the... Oh God, what's the title? It's the Soul Catch Tarot, which is going to come out next week. I wasn't really at a good place, but I didn't want to refilm it, because I don't do refilming, for better or worse. And I was a little all over the place there. So I guess it's gonna come and go, and I shouldn't expect to, be over it, I guess. So I will read this as giving myself permission to feel the loss, to be there, to figure things out, figure what the Page of Cups mean for me. And like I said, I don't want to sit here and be like, I've lost the greatest person ever and this is the greatest loss, because it's not true. But I figured things out that I'm not comfortable talking about, because like I said, it's not just about me, which would be interesting to talk about, but I want to be respectful, and I don't want to talk about everything all the time. I know, shocking, but I still think that what I wanted to say with this video is, just like how a relationship is not black and white, turns out grief is not black and white either. And you could be like, duh, that's obvious, but I never experienced that before. I've lost people in my life before, obviously. I'm not without that, but my emotional reaction was always one thing. It was never this all over the place, I don't understand what I'm feeling and why I'm feeling. And it could be because it's happening when I'm more spiritual and I'm more open to certain things, and I'm trying to work with myself more and with my emotions, which is so much fun. But yeah, well, I guess I'm gonna stop. Thank you so much if you watched it. I really do apologize if it didn't make any sense, and no need to feel sorry for me or anything. Like don't feel pressured into doing so. I know a lot of people lost so many people especially in the past few years in really fucked up ways, and I know how lucky we were that it happened the way it happened, but it also still a loss. So I kind of wanted to talk about it. So I hope it's okay. Thank you.